Welcome to Waterfall Crochet. In this video I'm going to demonstrate how to crochet a granny square. This is the type of square that I learned how to crochet when I first learned. I didn't even realize that patterns existed till much later. And what is great about a granny square is how repetitive it is and easy to learn and easy to remember. So I learned when I was a preteen, and at least 15 years later, somebody gave me a hook and yarn and I was able to crochet a granny square again. Now, I didn't know what to do with it, but I was actually able to make it again. So in other videos, I'm going to show you what you can do with your squares. So let's first learn how to crochet a granny square. I'm going to show you this piece first, this sample that I made up. I'm going to bring it a little closer where you can see the stitching a little better. There's this center hole, and then there's groups of 3 stitches that you should be able to see in the video. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and all the way around. So it's these easy groups of 3. So we've got the center hole, we have corners going out, we have chain spaces, and this is 3 rounds. So we've got this first round, this second round, and this third round. I'm going to show you on the tops of the stitches here. There's these, if you are right-handed, so there's these loops that look like you've just pulled through and pulled through. They're going that direction. So if we're a right-handed person, that's how it's going to look like. It's like this. So you've got these loops here are the top of the stitch, and so this here is the next stitch right there. So this is the front. So these are double crochets, and it's worked by yarning over and pulling through 2 loops on hook, and so you'll see 1 loop and 2 loop. And then here 1 loop and 2 loop, and that's how a double crochet looks like from the front. And from the back of the work, this is how it looks here. So I'm going to set that down, I'm going to set that aside, and I'm actually going to get the yarn now in the hook. So this particular yarn, I am going to use a H hook. Oh, yeah, I think that shows up in the video, an H hook, 5mm. Your yarn label will actually have on it which size hook they recommend for the yarn. And if you're just learning to crochet, you want to use a yarn that's like a regular weight yarn, which is going to be your normal yarns that you see. You don't want to start with a thread because that's much harder to see what you're doing. So something that looks like this with the hook that looks like that, and that's kind of what you're looking for, or maybe a little bit thicker yarn, and just look at the label and see what the label says. So to start with, you need to be able to get your yarn on your hook. So we do that with a slip knot, which the easiest way I find to make a slip knot is just do a fold over, and so this here is going to be the tail. So the end of the yarn in crochet is called a tail, and sometimes you'll see it referred to in the instructions. So it's crossed over there. So this loop, I'm holding on to where it crosses over, and the loop goes over to, so the side of the yarn that goes to the skein, that's called the working side of the yarn. So I'm pulling that working side now through that loop we crossed over. And so you've got this side that will make the knot, and the working side that's going to slip. And then you tighten it, and you leave a little bit of a tail there. Some patterns will tell you exactly how long of a tail, where when you're working in ends, sometimes leaving a longer tail is better, sometimes a little bit shorter. But as you're first learning, you want to leave, we'll leave, this is probably 6, let's see, maybe 5 inches. We'll just say it's 5 inches. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to take the slip knot out. So that's what's about a slip knot, is you just hold on where the knot is and you can pull and it just comes right off. So again, it's you have the tail side, you pick up and twist to where the tail side's crossed over on top. Then you take that loop and hold where it's crossed over and grab that working side. And that will give you the side that slips and the side that knots. And so this time I'm going to keep my tail just a little bit smaller, and so I'm kind of holding it to help guide to where that tail doesn't get much bigger. But I kind of went big there, so all I have to do is hold on the knot and pull that down, and see I've got my finger in it to catch it so I don't accidentally undo it. And then just a little tighter there. I'm going to put it on my hook, and see the side that slips is the working side, so I'm holding on to the knot and pulling it up. Now I don't want it real tight, because then it's going to be hard to get the yarn through. So for a granny square, we're going to chain 4. So how you chain is you just yarn over and you turn the hook there to catch that, and you pull it through the loop that was already on the hook, and that's your first chain. And yarn over again and pull through, and now that's 2 chains. Yarn over, pull through, and that's 3 chains. And so this is the same as I was showing you in the tops of the stitches, how we've got those loops going, and see. So we yarn over and catch it again and pull through, and now we have 4 chains on our hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to join with the slip stitch in this 4th chain from hook. And we're going to insert the hook into that first stitch. Now you notice how I went into those 2 loops. That's the top of the stitch, and it's the same thing on other stitching. That's the top, and we can see here this is called the back bar of the chain. So making your loop, it's okay to go into any loop on that, but you want to make sure that your chain doesn't get twisted like this, because then it can be a little bit of a mess. So you want to make sure it is flat and that you're going into this 4th chain from hook, which is the first one that you made. So to slip stitch, so we've inserted into the stitch, we yarn over, and so see I'm holding all the pieces here to keep it from all twisting. We pull through that chain and through the other loop on the hook. And here I'm going to open it up and see how we now have a ring. So the tail of the yarn, we're just going to hold that aside and out of the way. And so for this first set of 3, what we need to do is chain to get up to this height here of these double crochets. So I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And did you see that? That's you yarn over and then you pull through that chain or the loop on the hook, and that's how you make a chain. And so we've got 1, 2, 3. So here now we need to make 2 double crochets. So a double crochet is a yarn over, you insert the hook into the ring, yarn over, and see how when I yarn over, I'm doing this twist with the hook. So I've yarned over, twist, catch that loop, pull through the ring, and now there are 3 loops on the hook. So I yarn over, I'm twisting the hook so that when I'm going through these loops on the hook, the back of the hook is on this side, and so the little openings to be able to pull that through and not catch are on this bottom side. So you pull through 2 loops on hook, and see how I've twisted back over. I've rotated the hook again, yarn over, and I'm rotating the hook now to be down and pull through those 2 loops. And that is a double crochet. So I was showing you how we've got groups of 3. So now we have that chain and the first double crochet, so that's 2. So we need that third in that group of 3. So for double crochet, it is a yarn over, insert hook into the ring, yarn over, and see how I'm rotating that hook to make sure it catches the yarn. We pull through that ring. Now we have 3 loops on hook, so it's yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops, and that completes the double crochet. So we have this chain 3 that got us up to the row height. That's the equivalent of a double crochet. Then we have 1, 2 double crochets. Now to make sure you made your stitch right, if you want to look at it closer, a double crochet, there's these 2 loops that you pulled through. Oh, that one kind of blends in. See, sometimes it's hard to tell. And so we've got here this and this are 2 loops. And then you see this part here, that's where it pulled up. And this are the other 2 loops. So this one here is actually easier to see. You've got 1, 2, and 1, 2. Now we need to make this corner here. So we chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And now we need another group of 3 double crochets. So yarn over, insert hook into the ring, yarn over, pull that loop through the ring, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on hook. Let me know in the comments if I'm going at the right speed for being able to follow along. So we need another double crochet. So it's yarn over, insert hook into the ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. So that's the second double crochet in that group of 3. So yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, have 3 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So you've got the group of 3 here, the starting group of 3, corner, and a group of 3 double crochets here. So now for this next corner, we're going to do 3 chains. So it's yarn over, pull through loop on hook, yarn over, pull through loop on hook. Are you noticing how I am rotating the hook still? Yarn over, pull through loop on hook. And there we have 1, 2, 3 chains to form the corner. So now we need the next group of 3 double crochet. Yarn over, insert hook in the ring, yarn over, pull through. And so we've got 3. So see how that's twisting a little bit? That is just fine. You just use your finger to put it back. You don't want your thread too tight, so that's something that as you practice that you'll learn how to have your tension. And what's most important is have your tension consistent so that your piece works up the same size. So if you have too loose, so let's say I made these all really, really loose, and say that I made the other side really, really tight, the side that's loose is going to look way bigger. And if I did one that was really, really tight, let me do this real loose too. And I think you can actually tell already that that looks different than this. This looks taller. So if I did one that was really tight, and I've got that all really, really, really tight, then you can still do it. It's just, see how it pulls it all down? And so you want to have your tension consistent so that it works up evenly. So here, let me look at this piece again. And so you've got consistent spacing here on this one, consistent tension. And that's something that as you make a piece that you'll learn how to do, is get your tension even. And even if you're not right now while learning how to do it, you're going to be the one that notices. So it is just fine. We're not making clothing or sweaters or anything like that. It's okay making granny squares to not have consistent tension. And that's another reason why granny squares are often a good way to learn how to crochet. So I've taken all that out and we're back to our corner. 1, 2, 3 chains. And we're going to make our 3 chains or 3 double crochets in the ring. So let me get back to that. So we yarned over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So you notice how I grabbed on here and I slid it over because we've got some more to go. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So there's the second double crochet. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So there's that group of 3 double crochets. Now we need a corner, which will be yarn over and pull through because we're making 3 chains. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. Now thing on how you hold your yarn and your hook, I like to hold near wherever it is on the piece to help with getting the tension right on there, or like when I was moving that stitch over, I held over here. This is where that first went up, and so I'm pulling it over and holding it in relation to that. And then here with the working yarn, I've got it just looped around that first finger there just to help with guiding it and some tension, and also with being able to yarn over. And then the hook, you can figure out how it is you like holding the hook, but you want to be able to rock the hook back and forth for yarning over and pulling through. You're going to need to be able to rotate your hook. So 1, 2, 3 chains. So we've got our corner already. Now we need our last 3 double crochet on this first round. So yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, Got 3 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. We do that 2 more times. So yarn over, insert hook in the center there, yarn over, pull through. So we've got 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. And keep moving that tail out of the way. So yarn over, insert in that center ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And now we need to make this last corner on this first round. So 1, 2, 3 chains. And now we need to slip stitch in the first stitch to join. So the top of the first stitch, it's that chain 3 that counts as the first in that group of 3. So we've got those two loops go to that stitch, those go to this stitch, and so this here is the top of the chain 3. So let me use this to show. 1, 2, and here's the top of the chain 3 that we're going to slip stitch in. So I make sure I've still got 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3 chains there. I'm going to go into this top, and to slip stitch you yarn over and you pull through all the loops on the hook there. So that is our first round. And to get over ready for the second round, we're going to slip stitch across to the space, to that corner. So we're going to insert in the top of that stitch, yarn over, pull through all loops, insert in this second stitch, yarn over, pull through all loops, and then in this corner we're going to insert in the corner, yarn over, and pull through. And now we're ready to start the next row. And we need to chain to get up to the row height. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to grab a drink of water real quick. So that chain 3 counts as that first stitch on that second round. And we need our group of 3 in this corner here. So we've got chain, and we need to do 2 double crochet to get the group of 3 that goes into the chain space. So for the double crochet, it's yarn over, insert hook into the corner, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Now as you're watching, if you're needing to re-watch the video, part of the thing, it's the how to loop it over and rotating your hook as you're making that stitch. So yarn over, see I've got the hook pointing up, I insert, and so it's pointing down, now it's pointing up again. So I've yarned over here, coming over top, I'm pointing down again as it pulls that loop through, pointing up again, and so yarn over, see it's coming over the back side, and I've got the hook coming that way and catching it, and then pointing down and pulling through 2, yarn over, the hook's pointing down again and pulling through 2. And so there, 1, 2, 3. So there's that first group of 3. Now for the corner, we need a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we need the group of 3 here. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. There's the first double crochet, so we need 2 more. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and through 2 again. So now on this second round, we aren't making a corner right away, we have to get over to that other corner before we can make another corner. So we chain 1 because we need to make a space for working a group of 3 in later. So here, so now we've done this group of 3, we've made the corner, and we've done this 3, and now we've chained 1 so that the next round can have this group of 3 in it. And now we're ready to work in this corner again. So we need to do a group of 3 double crochets. So yarn over, insert into the space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through 2. And then again, yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and 2. And now we're ready to make the chain space for the corner. So 1, 2, 3 chain spaces for the corner, and then our group of 3 double crochets. Yarn over, insert, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and through 2 again. So there's our second double crochet. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and through 2. So we have our group of 3, our 3 for the corner, and our group of 3. Where here we need to do a chain space, and then we're working in a corner again. So we need our group of 3 double crochets, so yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and through 2. And for our corner, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we need to make the next set of 3 double crochets. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2. We've got 2 stitches. So that's one thing you're always going to be doing with crochet, is you're always going to be counting. So in this granny square, it's your counting 3s, or this 1 chain space. So we need our 3rd double crochet, and now we need a chain 1 space for above that. And now working in the corner again, going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, as we're making the 3 double crochets that get worked in the corner here. So each corner is 3 double crochets, 3 chains for the next corner, and then 3 double crochets for turning on the side. So that's the yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over, through 2 and through 2. And you're turning the piece as you go. So here now, let's move that tail back. Make that last chain 1 space, and then we're going to find the top of that first stitch. So we've got the top of the double crochet, the top of that double crochet, and then the top of this chain 3 that counts as a double crochet. And we're going to yarn over and pull through the stitch and the other loop on the hook. So now 2 rounds are complete. And I'm going to show a third round. So we need to slip stitch over to the corner. Oh, here I'm going to lay that down where you can see everything. So we want to slip stitch here, here, and then into the corner to get ready to do the next round. Or let me see if that's helpful to bring it up closer like this. So we're slip stitching into the top of this double crochet, the top of that double crochet, and then into the corner. So insert hook, yarn over, and pull through all loops on hook, and that's a slip stitch. So insert, hook in the stitch, yarn over, and pull through all the loops on the hook. So now we're going to insert in the corner, yarn over, and pull through. And now we are ready to do the chain 3 that counts as the first double crochet. And then again, the corners are always the 3, 3, and 3. So we've got that counts as the first. So we need 2 more double crochets. And then we make the corner 1, 2, 3. And then on this next side, it's the 3 double crochets. So that's what got worked in the corner. 3 chains for the corner and 3 double crochets. Now we need to work a chain 1 for the chain space for the next round, and that chain 1 that we worked on the last round, we're going to work 3 double crochets in there. So yarn over, insert hook in that chain space, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And you want to hold the piece close to where you're pulling from, where the yarn looped over. So yarn over, insert hook in the space, yarn over and pull through, and then see how I reposition and grab there, and yarn over, pull through 2 and through 2. So we've got 2 double crochets, so we need to do with our third one. Yarn over, insert hook into the space, yarn over and pull through, grab up closer to the bottom of that stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we need to make a chain 1 space, go over top of that, a chain 1, and now we're working in a corner again. So yarn over, insert, pull through 2, and pull through 2. We need our group of 3 double crochets, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and 2 again. So we got 2 stitches. Make our third, and chain 3, yarn over, insert. So we're making our next group of 3 here that goes in the corner. And now above this group of 3, we chain 1 for chain 1 space to work in on the next round, if there is a next round, because you can go as many rounds as you have, as you want, or you can make smaller squares that in another video I can show you what kinds of things you can do with your granny squares. So we insert, making our group of 3 in this chain 1 space, over, chain to make the chain, yarn over, pull through. Okay, yarn over, insert, and pull through 2. We're making our double crochets here. So our group of 3 double crochets. Then we need to make our corner. 1, 2, 3. And group of 3 double crochets. Now I'm going a little faster because my thought is you'll be able to go back to the start where I go slower making those double crochets. If you need me to go slower throughout the entire piece, if you could leave that in the comments and let me know, that will help me with what helps you. So I would like to share this craft, and I would like to know your feedback to know how well I'm doing. Thank you. So I did the chain 1 here. So we've got that group of 3 and then the chain 1. And so that's how, if you're ever wondering where you're at, you want to look at, so here's the stitch. This is the top of the double crochet. And then here we've got this here, that's a chain. So I know I've got the group of 3 and I've got the chain space. So yarn over, insert. I'm making the group of 3 double crochets in this space. And then the 3rd stitch. And again, crochet, you're going to want to be counting all the time to make sure you're getting the right number of stitches so that your piece works up as you intend for it to do. So yarn over, pull through, make that chain space. And now we need our 3 double crochets in this corner. And don't worry about mistakes, because even the best of crocheters make mistakes in their pieces, and that's just part of what a handmade item is. It's just your little signature on the piece you made. So now we need the chain 3 for the corner, and then we need the other group of 3 double crochets. So now we need our chain 1 over top, and then we need to work 3 double crochets in this space. We've got 3, so now we need our chain space here, and then to join in the top of that beginning chain 3. So we've got top of the stitch, and top of the beginning chain 3 right there. So my chain 1 space is still there. I'm going to put the hook into the top, yarn over, pull through all loops on hook. Now, if I'm making a piece that is just going to be these 3 rounds, I can fasten off here. If I'm going to be continuing rounds, then I would slip stitch over to that corner and keep going. Where for this piece, I'm going to be done with this color and this square. So I've pulled the loop a little bigger, so I can go grab my hook and not worry, or grab my scissors so I don't have to worry about the hook falling out. And I'm leaving a fairly long tail here. Then grab that, pull that through, and tighten up. And that is how you fasten off. Now, if you're going to be joining your squares where you're using different color squares to make a pattern, a handy tip is to leave a much longer tail than this that you can use then for joining the colors together. But otherwise, what you would do with your tails, which and sometimes it's easier to have a little bit longer tail, is you're going to sew those in, where you can get a tapestry needle and something. You want a smaller size needle as long as you can fit the yarn into it. And if you have trouble threading needles, it's okay to use a bigger piece or a bigger a needle with a bigger hole. And turn over to the back of your work. And what I do is I'll just thread just a little bit and pull that through. And then you want to try and stab through the center of this yarn, and that's going to help secure it. And also you're wanting to try and get your needle to go through center of the stitch. And so you'll see it a little bit on that side, but that's really just fine. So here, I'll show you what it ends up looking like. And back to, it's okay if your piece doesn't look perfect, because that's just a part of making a handmade item. And you want to do that a few times. See, you can't even really tell. You want to do that a few times. Let me see, where did it come through? So I'm going to try and, oh, let me bring it back up here so we can see. So here's where the yarn came through, and I'm going to try and get around this piece of yarn and stab through it, because that's going to help anchor it. So I got through a little bit of it, pull through, and then I'm going to go up this stitch. So what I try to do is make it look like it's a part of the stitch, where sometimes you might want to, if you're going to go back and forth through the three, so there's 3 different double crochets here. There's that beginning chain 3 and the 2 double crochets. If you want to keep them with their space between them to where it doesn't look like that's where you fasten your yarn, you want to just go up and down the individual stitches. And you don't want to get into these top loops here, because when you're joining, you're going to need those loops for joining. But this is a part of weaving in the end. And the more you do it, and especially catching through the yarn as you go, that's going to help secure your piece so when you wash it, that it doesn't unravel. And another thing you can do, just how far you want to go, is I'm going to bring it down to this row here, and you want to do little short segments where you're coming back on it to help secure it. And when I'm ready to cut the yarn, what I'll do is I'll pull a little snug and make sure it's weaving through, and I'll do a longer part and pull it through, and I'll make that crunch up a little bit and then cut, and then I'll let that relax out a little bit to help hide that into the stitching. And that's how you can hide your end after you've made your piece, if that's what's needing to be done. So, because like I said, if you leave a long end, you can use that for joining your squares, or you might do where it's all one color of squares and you use a completely different color for the joining. It all depends on what you're going to do with your square. So for this, I've showed you how to weave that end in. And so that first, from the center here, so your initial tail here, that would be the same thing. You just get your tapestry needle, thread it through, and just start weaving the end in. And you want to make sure, so that last part I showed you how I crunched up real good because I wanted that last little bit when I cut it to go in there. You don't want to be doing that as you're weaving in your end because it'll bunch up your piece. So you want to make sure that as you're sewing in your end that you're not crunching up your piece. But you do want to go back on it because that will help secure it so that when you wash your piece that the ends are not unraveling. And see, I'm just going up and down stitches and then coming back on them. And do it a few times, and I like to do extra just to make sure because it's a lot of work making a project. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have already learned to crochet, let me know in the comments how you learned. Did you know how to read a pattern? Did you learn from a pattern? Or were you like me where you learned from somebody else when you were young and didn't even realize there were patterns? So, and if you learned how to do a granny square, did you learn to do it like I just showed you? And if not, can you tell me about it in the comments? I would love to know how people learned how to make a granny square. Thank you for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share our joy of crochet. If you have any stitches or techniques that you'd like me to demonstrate, tell me in the comments and I'll get to that when I can. Thank you so much for watching.